Hello hunters, welcome back to the Linen Closet. Thanks for joining me, the Whisky Hunter, today. This is going to be an awesome episode. I got a lot of stuff to cover. You're not going to believe what I have today. You're just not going to believe it. Before I get into all that, what do people buy whiskey drinkers when they get gifts? They don't know what to buy you. They don't know whiskey. Maybe you get a book. There's some back here. Or you get a number of these boxes of these. I've got a drawer full of these. Sipping stones. How many of you whiskey drinkers have some of these in a drawer? I bet you there's more than one. You know the story of these stones. They're made of no, it doesn't really matter. The point is, who uses these things? Who puts these in their whiskey? Puts it in the freezer, freezes them, put it in their whiskey. I've never seen anybody at anybody's house ever put this in their whiskey. But I'll tell you, having your drink on ice or on the rocks is actually having it on the rocks. That's where it came from. When they used to take cold rocks from the river, put it in their drink to make it cold. You know, truly, the drinks were on the rocks. Today, they're these stones. And just wanted to show you this. It's going to go back in the drawer with the other stones I have. I won't be using these. Not to say you shouldn't, or you shouldn't try it. I have another Craigslist story. Craigslist is a great source to find bottles, just a great source. This guy had these bottles up here with a couple other very expensive bottles that even on Craigslist were expensive, but the two he had on here, I thought maybe I could work a better deal for, and I did. And we ended up meeting at a Starbucks, which tends to be the place where people want to do exchanges. And he told me his story, which you never really know on Craigslist if that's really the story of what happened. But he's telling me that he's a psychiatrist or psychologist and had a number of accidents, though I didn't see a limp or any inclination that he was hurt. And that he was selling off some of his bottles to help offset the costs of these operations he had. So why wouldn't I believe him? So we worked a pretty good deal on some bottles, and these are bottles that I've looked for and really couldn't afford. You don't even see these in stores, but I see them at auction occasionally. So the bottles I want to show you today, this is a unicorn bottle, and I'm sure there are better bottles of this out there, but to have this in my closet is pretty awesome. So these are both closed distillers. This one was mothballed in 1983. It was distilled in 1982, bottled in 2006, and it's a 24-year-old. It's by Gordon and MacPhail. The bottle is Brora. And as you whiskey hunters know, this is, you're just never going to find this. This is diligence from years of looking on Facebook to come across this. And I mean, the price was ridiculously low on this bottle. 2006. Label looks really good. I don't believe it's a fake. I've checked the liquid out. The beads settle right down. It's 43% ABV. Awesome. I will open this one day. I don't know when, but when I do, I will share it with my friends here on my channel. The other bottle I got is by Duncan Taylor. It's another closed distillery. It was actually demolished in 2010. It's a Capradonic 1972 distillation, bottled in 2010, 38-year-old. How about that? The other bottles he had were 70s Port Ellens, and that just was not going to happen. He did have the original receipt of this bottle when he purchased it. This is non-chill filtered, no color added. It's beautiful. There you go, you can get a look at that. It's cask 7427, 47.5% ABV, bottle 103 of 151 produced. Is that beautiful? Again, another great deal on Craigslist. Helped out the doctor with, I hope, offsetting his costs. He bought this from D&M Wine in San Francisco in 2012. And we'll go into the price. That's between him and I. Well, and actually the retail, but what a beautiful bottle. So another great Craigslist find. Always check Craigslist. I check it daily. You just never, even in today's age where it's hard to find bottles, you never know. Today's tasting, it's a great one. Something that most of us will not be lucky enough to taste. A friend of mine creates these miniature labels and sent me a sample of this bottle. It said the label looks like the bottle. This is a 40-year-old Springbank by Chieftains. You can see on this label here, it's bottle 341 of 398. It's 54% ABV. This is distilled in 1968 and bottled in 2008. It is a first fill Oloroso sherry butt. There's no color added. It's unchill filtered. This is amazing. And I love Springbank. I've got a pretty decent collection of them, and some older bottles. Some not available in the United States that I found on auction. Needless to say, this has been sitting in the glass a good 45 minutes. And this is a new glass I got. I'll talk about this. I'm going to do a episode on my stemware. I like to collect, not a whole lot, but unique glasses. We'll talk about this at a later time, but look at that color. Dark gold. Let's see what this looks like. Let's take a look at the legs. They're just forming on the glass and starting to run. They're thick. This side, they're barely coming down and still forming. Fat legs. Oh, it's beautiful. Onto the nose. 40-year Springbank. I have never tasted this. Wow. It's 54% ABV, but there's no ethanol burn at all. Zero. You'd assume with 40 years this would be over oaked, and it's not at all. The first thing you get is a rich, deep toffee. There's the sherry's there, but it's subdued. This is still a very fresh dram. There's raisins. It's sweet. There's honey. Wow. This is a complex whiskey. I want to say teak wood and brine, kind of like the smell of teak wood on a boat when you're on the water in the ocean. There's a smokiness to it, like a toasted oak. It's very sultry and alluring, with anticipation of what this is going to taste like. There's a waxiness to it. You can almost see the waxiness as you look at the legs. The legs are still coming down. Unbelievable. There's fruits to it. There's a lot of different fruits going on here. This is so well balanced for a 40-year-old. It's unbelievable. But how many 40-year-olds do you really get to taste anyway? Oh, wow. Well, let's taste it without further ado. Unbelievable. It's very thick. Treacle. Syrupy. Molasses. Toffee. Toffee and coconut. There's what you find in old whiskey, taste of leather. There's honey. There's spices in it of cinnamon. Another sip. It's still lively on the tongue. There's ginger, kind of candied sugar. Reminds me of my youth. My dad would make candied apples on Halloween. Can you believe they gave out candied apples on Halloween? And it's kind of what I'm getting from that. Oh, it's great memories. Sultanas and currants. There's dried apricots, berries. Have you ever sucked on a honeysuckle flower at the beginning of summer? I remember doing that as a kid too, and I kind of get that flavor from it. It's really complex. There's so many different flavors and aromatics to this. And I'll tell you, this glass for nosing is amazing. You can see how fat the body of that is, and of course it concentrates like any nosing glass at the top, but that's amazing. Let's put a tad bit of water and see if that does anything to it. About that, Capradronic, Brora, and 40-year Springbank. Crazy. It's pretty nice for swirling too. mixes the water really nice with that. You can actually see the separation of oil and water in this. That's unbelievable. I don't know if you're gonna pick that up in there, but that is outstanding. I'm not getting a big change, but if anything, there's more toffiness to it. Sweet toffee. It's just amazing. Sweet toffee, sweet oak. Not tannin bitter oak, but the sweet oak. Let's see what it's like with water. Brings out a little more of the ginger, I think, in it. More of the spices, the cinnamon. More nuts, kind of, and like I said, ginger. But I like it better without the water. The finish is pretty long. It's got a kind of a coffee, a dark coffee note to it, and soft oakiness left. Wow. Springbank is already outstanding. A 40-year Springbank is just off the hook. Hey, the other thing I forgot to mention that came in today too is this package, and in here is a crap load of samples. None of my samples come from stores. Well, early on when I first got into them, from MOM I got some, but I'm just curious to see what this one is. Oh, well, this is Compass Box Enlightenment. I'm not going to open them all. I don't really know what's in here. I'll find out. There's probably 6 or 7 in here, but I'll be tasting them at some time. Hey, I'd rate this a 95. It's just that good. And that's up there with other old whiskeys I've tasted. They're really good. Thanks for joining me for this episode. Please subscribe, share, and if you'd like this video, click on the like button. Thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. Below you'll see a link to my Instagram and blog. If you're interested, check that out. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back next time with another story of hunting and another review of some great dram. Thanks. Take care.